So we are now going to bring back up our very own Justin Lebbon to the stage, and he's going to be in conversation with Willie Pang, and this is full funnel campaigns in premium streaming. You can see it up on their screen. I don't need to read them all. Please give them a very warm welcome.
On my way, on my way.
Everyone's taking the piss out of me, by the way, for that bio photo. And what I will reveal is, yes, it is. It's 10 years old.
That's okay. So is mine.
Is it really?
Yeah, it isn't.
Oh, you haven't aged a bit. I tell you what, the question that's on everyone's lips is, what's your Australian name?
My Australian,
yeah.
Well, I don't really have one. Some of my colleagues would just call me Pang, but to be honest, that's because I've traditionally been the one to install them on other people. So.
Oh, really?
I heard that we can call you Lebbon.
No, you can't. Pango doesn't quite work though, does it?
It doesn't, I don't think.
No. All right, so you launched Amazon Prime ads it was last summer, right? Last summer in Northern Hemisphere. So last June, was it? July?
July.
I know stats aren't particularly, you're not that keen to give them, but around 5 million subscribers or Prime users in the country. Do you have any idea of how many have switched between subscription and ad funded and all the rest of it like that? Are you sort of satisfied with the rollout? Sort of 8 months in?
It's a good set of questions. I might just do an audience participation thing. Team, can we put our hands up if you are a Prime member?
But these are all like wealthy.
Oh, we're preaching to the converted.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. This isn't the entire. This isn't. We're not normal, right? Don't think you're normal. We're very special, wealthy, and intelligent and handsome people. So. Very different to the rest of the country.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll start with this. I mean, we are somewhat preaching to the converted. Around the room, there's about 90% of folks who are already members, so they will be able to bring their own personal experiences to it.
Right.
I think the headline is, so you all know and love, particularly those who are members, you all know and love Amazon as the everything store. And
now, you're assuming that they love Amazon.
Right, true.
Yeah.
We won't do the hands up thing.
No, don't do that, no.
But what a little bit of backstory on Prime Video, what it's and the genesis of it. The Prime Video that you and I experience today is really an extension of the ethos of that everything store to become the one-stop shop of entertainment. As a result, around the world, it's touching the lives of 200-odd million customers. In Australia, the monthly average ad-supported reach is more than 5 million. Mm-hmm. And so as we launched advertising at scale in this country, I think we've been pleased with a couple of things. One is the consumer reaction to it. I think Burbs put it beautifully. Our number one principle is that we want to have meaningfully less ad load. We think that matters.
Do you know what that is when you say meaningfully less? Do you have a number?
We don't have one. I don't have one that we can share here, but it would be, and you will all experience it yourselves. There's a lot of personalization that goes into everyone's experience with that as well. And the second thing is that from an advertising perspective, we've seen incredible results for brands who participated at launch. And what I can also share is that for advertisers, brands, and agencies who did buy a campaign in the first quarter post-launch, something like 92% of those have come back to renew their campaigns going forward. So broadly speaking, the reaction has been really positive.
And who are these advertisers? Are they people who already advertise on telly, or are they new to the TV ecosystem?
It's a great question. There's,
do you know?
I do. So there are 3 core cohorts. There's the first and the most leaned in to begin with were our traditional large TV and video spenders, global multinationals and the major corporations of this country. The second group, which has been quite surprising, but good, I think, for the industry, are digital native, what used to be very performance-driven advertisers that spend a lot of money in paid search and performance display and things like this, who are reaching up the funnel to spend money in digital video. And that's been really interesting. I think Burbs, again, spoke a little bit about this. We suffer, this would be somewhat of my personal perspective, but I think that the group in the room have given me some of this feedback. We think about the world as being the long or the short of it. And so when those two things to me are these brands, big brands stretching down, performance brands stretching up in the funnel is a sign to me that full funnel advertising is something that's important. And the third cohort, which I'm most excited about, Alan Moss spoke to you, Justin, about this in London or New York, is the democratization of video advertising. So last year we launched a thing called Sponsored TV. It's aimed at giving small businesses of all shapes and sizes across all sectors the ability to access what is premium video inventory at scale, and to do it in a highly autonomous way.
Yeah. So are you concerned that because it's Amazon, you're just going to be looking at, you're going to be looked at as a sort of retail media outlet and a performance-based media? And do you just want to dispel that actually with Prime Video and other assets, you want to help brands who are working the entire funnel? Is that the whole?
That's definitely the ambition,
okay.
Right? I would say that we're very proud of our retail media DNA. That full funnel, the proposition around being full funnel at scale for everyone is core to everything we're doing. It impacts the way we're placing advertising into the Prime Video environment. It impacts the way we're thinking about measurement, and it impacts the way we're deploying technology to make it easier for everyone.
Yeah, so in a lot of other markets, you've joined like trade bodies, the Thinkbox in the UK you're a member of, and you've done a little bit also in Canada and other markets. Here you're part of the VFC. Do you view, you're obviously not coming up here and talking about this, is it pointless you coming here and going about share, just stealing market off the existing TV business? Are you part of the solution of growing the video ecosystem? Is that important to you?
100%. This is all about growing the ecosystem.
What are you doing about that to take money from other areas of the ad ecosystem and bring it back into television?
So I won't steal too much of Toby and the team at VFC's thunder around this. What I will say is that there are two principal things that we are very focused on. One is, the first is a consistent definition around what is premium video, because I think beautiful storytelling will always matter, just coming back to one of Burbs' slides before.
Yeah.
Creating a canvas where advertisers can bring their most compelling stories and distributing that, I think that's really important, because a big screen this size through to the one inside your lounge room is very different to a piece of advertising you're viewing on your mobile phone that goes for 6 seconds and kind of disappears in a second. The second thing is this concept of unified measurement. And I think when I use the term unified measurement, I think a lot of folks in the room will start to go, well, is it a panacea? Is there really a silver bullet? There's massive fragmentation happening right now, and I don't think there's going to be a simple solve to that. Maybe.
Do you mean in Australia or everywhere?
Here in Australia. I'll speak specifically to Australia, but it's the right ambition.
Yeah.
Trying to make it, if we're building back from the customer being the brand, the agency, the advertiser, is we want to make it as easy as possible for them to measure the results of their investment.
I think premium as well is not just premiums in the eye of the beholder. I hate that line, just so you know. But I think it's also the environment that you're in, and transparency plays a critical part of that. Knowing where your ad's at and who saw it, and then you get paid for what occurred there. Is that really important to you guys? Because I know you've joined Barb, you've joined Numeris, VFC here, probably talking to Oztam as well. Is that critical for you guys too?
It is.
And to be part of the existing ecosystem, is that
100%. You know, we think that we have a role to play in shaping what the future looks like. We think about it from two slightly different lenses. One is in the context of full funnel advertising and the things that we can control with the technology that we're developing. The first and foremost is making it easier for a brand to connect the things they're doing, campaign tactics at the top of the funnel, all the way through to the transaction. And that's all within our environment, and we can control that. And so first and foremost, we've got to make that easy. If we can't do that for ourselves in our environment, what hope have we got to be able to do it across 60 different channels with disparate technology, different data sets and so forth? So number one, that's what we're trying to solve. And then the second thing we hear from customers is we also don't want you to mark your own homework. And so part of that is about how do we get the right partnerships with third parties and involve ourselves with industry bodies so that other folks can be empowered to solve that issue. Because everyone wants something different. Some people are after clarity, accuracy and truth matters. Some people are after the ability to demonstrate that their investment, it went to where it was supposed to go.
Yeah.
Right? Old school proof of posting type stuff for anyone old enough still to remember this stuff. Some are after attention. Some are after some combination of all of these things. So there's different ways and different metrics that folks are trying to solve for. And in some ways, I think Christian Kroon spoke about this yesterday in the press, is that fragmentation, as a publisher, we're playing amongst the trees. If we elevate and look at the forest, actually that's where I think the agency and the expertise that lives in the agency are building. We need to ask of those folks to build the expertise to be able to deal with that fragmentation.
And you think it grows through consistency of all those services. So if we're talking consistent language, that'll help grow the market. Let's just talk about the aggregation of services. You obviously can, Bev mentioned it earlier, you've got Paramount on the services there. I mean, it's not too far-fetched to think that the free-to-airs with their BVOD services could also be on Amazon as well. Do you see that as part of your sort of super aggregation model?
It was always our model, right? Yeah. If I take you back to this comment about being the everything store, to be the one-stop shop for entertainment, to give customers choice. Amazon's thing, it was Uncle Jeff had, this is our guiding principles, working backwards in a customer-obsessed way. And so when we think about that context in entertainment, on one hand, at a proprietary level, we're making amazing stuff, right? We are very committed to Australian storytelling. Last night, we had the premiere of Narrow Road to the Deep North, starring who I think will be Australia's next superstar in Jacob Elordi. Mm-hmm. From that to The Test, which follows the world's greatest cricket team, Australia.
England? Oh, right, yeah, okay, yeah.
And all of the wonderful work.
You've got sport.
We do. We have sport.
Right.
So all of the things that we have that are uniquely Australian, that are culturally relevant, we'll continue to invest in. Okay. And then you build on top of that all of the global kind of Hollywood A-lister stuff. Jake Gyllenhaal's abs in Roadhouse or
they are delicious abs, aren't they?
Right. And then Paramount Plus, and we're adding on top of that. The goal is to make it easy for you to find the piece of content that you want. That's why we've got Paramount Plus or Apple TV and Hey You and Bein and all so on and so forth.
But also to be local, right? So you're doing this in Canada with Chorus. You actually aggregate some of their channels and they actually have a digital property. Do you see that happening here with free-to-airs or actually probably get DAZN on Amazon? Do you see that happening here though?
Yeah, we're certainly open to it. We're doing some of that. We have wonderful precedents in countries like Canada where we are already accepting done deals to distribute fast channels, look at BVOD distribution, like all of that sort of stuff for sure will be in the roadmap for us in the future.
And then I guess the next plan as well, you're obviously building a DSP. Around the world you're doing this and you're onboarding third-party inventory as well. So you're doing a sort of, I know DV360 did that too, right? They did that and they onboarded third-party services. You're doing the same, but you're also selling Prime Video. What's the pitch there for broadcasters joining you, knowing that, how do you ensure that their inventory gets sold over your own? So massive concern.
So I think the answer actually, from my perspective, is pretty straightforward, right? Those 200 million odd customers that are viewing Prime Video all around the world today generate something in the order of 1 trillion data signals that can be applied to helping make a smarter decision on the piece of advertising that appears to someone at any given time, at the right place, at the right time, with the right product, with the right price, with the right profit. And what that translates to, we think, is disproportionately greater outcomes. And the greater outcomes lead to better yield. And better yield leads to more investment, which means more flexibility to create content that works for Aussies, that is culturally relevant, and that flywheel fuels itself. Mm-hmm. And so that is our proposition. We're agnostic. From my point of view, from the Amazon's point of view, our goal, when we think about it as the everything store, the Amazon DSP is really just an enabler to allow for the folks who are investing the money into video advertising today in this room to make a choice on what supply they want to buy. It might be Prime Video, but it equally could be something else.
And it's a bit of a yes/no answer. I guess by being in the DSP, you can marry up with your retail sales data with the inventory and make buys based on that, make those data-led buys, correct? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, join me in thanking Willie for being very brave to have this chat. Thank you very much. I'm going to stay here. You're going to exit that way.